Okay guys, welcome to my CSGO strategy book. We're going to talk about CT setups on DE Dust 2. For each setup we're going to cover where the positions are, how many are at long, short A or at A site, CT spawn, B ramp or at the B site. We'll also cover the advantages and the disadvantages depending on what the terrorists do for your setup. So the first setup we're going to look for is a 2-1-0-0-2 setup. This is where you have 2 guys at long, 1 guy at short or on the A site, 0 guys at CT ramp, 0 guys at the B ramp and 2 guys in the B site. This is an interesting setup as you've got no one watching mid. Alright, let's look at the advantage. The advantages for this setup is if they do a long rush, you have 2 guys there easily being able to stop it due to the crossfire setup at long quite nicely. If they do a split A push, it is also very strong against, as you can shut down long, you can delay short with your short guy and really mess up their timings and should be able to hold long and then retake A site if need be. If they do a B push, the setup is also quite good, as you've got 2 guys defending the B site within close proximity of each other, being able to set up crossfires and shutting that push down. For a split and pick strat, this setup also works quite well, as you've got no one in a readily pickable position. The only position that can be picked really easily is at the long corner. You've got no one picking up mid, and no one playing too aggressively in short, so it's a good setup for that. Let's have a look at the disadvantage. A split B tactic will destroy this setup, as you focus the 2 guys on B site to watch 2 different directions, and your guys on A and short cannot help at all. This is a very bad setup for that. A short push also is a disadvantage against this setup, as you've only got 1 guy defending there and your 2 guys are heavily committed to the long A, and they should be able to get to the site quite easily, overpowering that 1 dude on short. Now we're going to look at a 1-2-0-0-2 setup. This is where you have 1 guy at long, 2 guys on A site watching short, and the 2 guys in the B site, no one on B ramp or in CT spawn. The advantages for this is if they do a short push, you have 2 guys watching it, who can set up a nice crossfire and shut that push down quite easily, delay them enough for rotations, etc. If they do a split A, the setup is also quite good, as you've got 2 guys who can shut down short and then they can fend off long quite easily, so they only have to watch that one direction, and that 1 guy at long can delay, and the guy at car or wherever he's playing can play both. This CT side setup is really good against a B push, as you have 2 guys committed to the B site who can set up nice crossfires and should be able to shut down it with ease. This setup is also quite good against the split and pick strategy, as you have no one in a readily easable picking position and thus can force them to commit to a site or commit to a position where you can take them out with a nice crossfire setup or with a nice nades. Now let's talk about some disadvantages. A split B tactic would be good against this CT side setup, as there's only 2 people on the B site and they're both playing in sight. They can't set up crossfires very easily. And a long push can also be good against the CT setup, as you've only got 1 person at long and you've got the 2 on the site who are watching short, so you can overpower that guy at long quite easily and get positions there very easily. Now we're going to look at a 2-0-0-1-2 setup. 2 people at long, 1 person in mid, and 2 people on the B site. Let's have a look at some of the advantages of this setup. This CT side setup is good against a long push, as you've got 2 guys watching long, and only 1 area where the T's can come out quite nicely. This should be able to shut down long pushes very easily. This is also good against a B push, as you have 2 guys on the B site committed to the B site, and therefore you got a nice crossfire set up there. Split B, this strategy is also good against, as you have 3 people now defending the split B area. 2 should be able to shut down 1 area quite nicely, and then help out the other if they need to. This is a very strong counter to the mid to B push. Let's have a look at the disadvantages. The split and pick strat, they can pick your mid guy, therefore leaving you quite open on the A site and middle as well, and they can pick your long corner guy as well, leaving you completely open on the A site with very few people being able to defend it. They can get the bomb down easily that way. And a short push, as you only have one person spotting short, which is the mid guy, and if he goes down then they get up short really easily, or if he gets smoked off they get up short really easily. The same applies to a split A tactic. Your long guys will get shut down, but your short guys should get up there with no resistance. Alright, now we're going to have a look at a 1, 2, 0, 1, 1 setup. This is where you have one guy at long, two guys on the A site, one guy at B ramp, and one guy in B. This is slightly different than the two guys in B. This is good against a short push, as you have two guys watching short who can set up nice crossfires, and therefore be able to stop a short push very quickly. It's also good against the split A push, as again you can shut down the short push, and then you can just delay the long push long enough for you to be able to call you guys in from B to rotate. It is also relatively good against a split B push, as you have a guy now watching B ramp who can also get help from the guy at car, if needed, if there's no smoke, or if the smoke is not good. And the B guy should be able to delay long enough. And it's also good against a split and pick, as you have no one in a readily easable picking position. You have no one picking mid, and you have no one picking the long doors. The B guy could be picked, or guy A site could be picked, but they have to commit quite strongly to get those picks if you play it right. Let's have a look at the disadvantage. A long A push is very good against this setup, as you have only one guy defending long, and they can split your guys up from A, ramp, and site quite easily. However, it's not the best against this setup. A B rush is a disadvantage here, as you only have one guy on the B site, and that second guy can get smoked off really easily, really quickly, and therefore it's not very good against a B rush. Now we're going to look at a 2-1-0-1-1 setup, where you have two guys at long, one guy on the A site, one guy watching mid, and one guy on the B site. This is very similar to the heavy long site with the two guys on the B, however there are a few changes. This is very good against a long rush, if you have two guys at long, can set up a nice crossfire, and shut that push down very quickly. A short push it's also strong against, as you have the guy peeking mid, and the guy at A site who can set up a crossfire and call it and delay as well. And your guys at long can push long if needed, as there's two guys there. A split A again is good against, because you can shut down long and you can delay short quite easily with this. Your mid guy can get smoked off and you can have problems on short, but you should be able to shut down that long quite easily. Let's have a look at the disadvantages here. A split B is a disadvantage, as if that guy is peeking mid and gets picked very easily, your B site guy is in trouble. And if there's a split B, that guy will go down very, very quickly. And a split and pick strat as well is a disadvantage, as you have two guys in readily easable picking positions, so the guy at the long corner and the guy at mid. If the guy at mid goes down, then the guy at B is very vulnerable, the long corner guy not so much though. And a B rush is also not good for this strategy, as you only have one guy on the B site and your second guy is far out in mid and cannot help the guy on the B site if he gets smoked out very easily. Now we're going to have a look at a 1-1-1-1-1 setup. We have one guy at long, one guy on A site, one guy in CT spawn, one guy on B ramp, and one guy at B. This is the usual counter to a mid to B push, but let's have a look at all the strategies possible. Like I was saying, the mid to B push, this is a very good counterpoint, as you have a crossfire set up in mid, and the guy at B should be able to delay long enough for the mid to be shut down, or he could get a few kills, fall out, and you can retake B quite easily. It's also good against a B push, as the CT guy can cover B ramp while the B guy goes into B quite easily, and they don't have to worry about mid. A split and pick, this strategy is also good against, because you have nobody in a pickable position very easily. They have to commit strongly to get a pick. There's no one at the long corner, and there's nobody peeking mid, and no one playing aggressive short. The B guy is really the only guy who can get picked very easily. Let's have a look at the disadvantages. A split A site, as you only have two people defending A total, this can go down very quickly. However, if you have a good AWP at Carl or something, and they don't smoke them off, this can be a very good hold for that as well. A short push is also a disadvantage, unless you have that strong AWP at Car, as say you only have one person defending there and one person fully committed to long, they should be able to get on A site quite easily with smoke strats. And finally, the long A push, they should only have one guy at long who can get overrun quite easily, and therefore they should be able to get to A quite easily as soon as they overrun that guy at long. And you have nobody on the A site to actually defend very easily. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.